Muted.
Conference call. For starters, can everyone hear me? If you can, please type yes into your questions box now. Wonderful, welcome. We're so happy that you're able to join us. Our presenters today include Meetingmax President and CEO Jeff Duncan, Director of Client and Strategic Relations Sureena Parmar, Client Experience Manager Patrick MacCoubrey, and myself, Community and Marketing Manager Kelly Heesterman. We'll quickly review some housekeeping items. So for the audio, if you have called in by telephone, please make sure that you've entered your audio PIN. Your unique audio PIN is listed under the audio section of your dashboard. The image on the screen shows you where you can find this. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, please type them into the questions panel. Also, you can see this highlighted on your screen. We will address all questions at the end of the webinar. And the contest, as most of you know, we are running an exciting contest today in which you have the chance to win a free system feature valued at $1,000. To be eligible to win the prize, you must answer all 4 poll questions throughout the webinar. Each speaker will ask a poll question. You can answer anything you please, just so long as you participate, you will be entered into the draw. The winner will be selected after the webinar and will be announced in my post-webinar e-blast. Moving on to our agenda for today. So Jeff Duncan is going to give us a welcome address. Following that, I will talk about the Unconvention 2016 and what you can expect to see there. Sureena will then take us through some exciting new system features designed to make your life easier. Patrick will then talk about different ways that Meetingmax supports you. Jeff will then go through an update on the front-end reservation page redesign. And finally, we'll wrap up with Q&A. So Jeff, can you please talk about why we host this call annually?
Thanks, Kelly, and hopefully everyone can hear me here. I see that I'm unmuted. I just want to thank everyone for spending a bit of time with us today. Just as my remarks to kind of help frame this call for you, I thought I'd spend just a moment making sure it's clear as to why we have the call and why you were invited onto this call. First of all, as many of you know, and as I speak about quite often, we are a core values-based organization, and one of our core values is nurturing of relationships. It's kind of a fundamental to our existence as a company, and one of the key pillars of our value system. So, having this nurturing of all relationships leads us into having strong customer engagement, and ultimately our quest as a company is something that we strive for called ridiculously remarkable support. So in order for us to deliver this ridiculously remarkable support, it's kind of vital that we have an opportunity to engage with you guys, our customers, and we get a great opportunity to do this once a year, each and every year, to connect and unite and really get a chance to know our clients well as we host them at the annual Unconvention here in Vancouver. Of course, the logical problem with that is the whole scenario is that it really only happens once a year. So it's this reason that we strategically place this, quote, conventional, unquote, conference call halfway between the last convention and the next one. So as Kelly's got up on the screen, some of my objectives as I looked at this call, number one, making sure that we're keeping existing customers abreast of what our latest developments are. Number two, involving new customers and making sure that they have a sense for what we're all about as a company. Number three, giving everyone a sense for what to expect at the Unconvention this spring, as we anticipate it's going to be a terrific and record-setting event for us. And then finally, and probably most importantly, our objective is to make sure we engage with you, our partners and our friends. We want to have an opportunity to connect with you on a meaningful level. So get your Meetingmax slippers on and get ready for an action-packed next 45 or 55 minutes. I'll pass it back to Kelly.
Perfect. Thank you, Jeff. So let's jump into the Unconvention. For those of you that are new to Meetingmax, the Unconvention, like Jeff was mentioning, it's our annual user conference hosted in Vancouver, BC each April. We don't believe in sitting in one ballroom each day. We find it too boring. We like to keep our conference unconventional by moving to various venues throughout the day and fostering a sense of community and teamwork among our attendees. The 2016 event will take place April 25th to 27th. And why should you attend? Number one, event success. You'll receive hands-on learning inside the Meetingmax system. You'll be able to increase your knowledge to increase the success of your events. Point two, expert knowledge. Attend education sessions hosted by Meetingmax experts. Expect sessions from all-stars on our team like Sureena, Patrick, Farah, and Jeff, and of course the housing experts, our experienced Meetingmax users. Return on investment. Identify new opportunities in Meetingmax to generate revenue. One attendee said they hit their ROI within minutes of the first breakfast when talking housing with other users. Which leads us into point four, connect with other housing users. The Unconvention is a great platform to connect with housing professionals and grow your personal network. On the screen are quotes from guests that have attended the Unconvention in the past. Our attendees are a variety of meeting planners, convention services and technology staff from CVBs, and event managers that plan multiple annual events. Now might be a great time to hear firsthand what some of our users last year thought of the conference. Jeff, I'll let you pick on some people here to share their experience.
My diabolical plan. So I apologize in advance for anyone that I'm going to pick on. Just looking down the list of attendees in here. Let's see, we've got Shane Sorensen from the Plano Convention and Visitor Bureau. As someone seeks out Shane to unmute him. Shane, your organization, the Plano CVB, has been in attendance for the Meetingmax Unconvention for multiple years. Just want to find out from your perspective why you come, why you invest the time and energy into attending the Unconvention, and what value you see for it from your organization. Shane, are you there?
Jeff, it looks like Shane has not entered his audio pin, so we won't be able to pick on him today.
Step one on the housekeeping plan. All right, I'll tell you what. As Shane figures out his audio pin, Shane, find your audio pin and put it in. I'll look down. Let's pick on Mary from South by Southwest. Mary, I'm going to pick on you for a different reason. I'm going to pick on you because of the fact that you've come to the last couple of Unconventions and you've come here in droves. You've brought your entire housing team with you. Finding out just from your perspective and South by Southwest perspective as to why you guys find value in sending so many people to the Unconvention to be represented here in Vancouver. Do we have Mary, and did she enter in her audio pin?
I did.
Hi, Mary.
Hi. That's a really an easy answer. There's several answers to it, to be honest. I think one of the things we discovered from the beginning of working with Meetingmax was we were gaining the confidence in a new system, and us being there was important for that. Last year we brought even more people because we realized that we can give better customer service if we understand the system to its fullest. And if we use every possible feature to enhance the user's experience, that's what we are here for. So when we have everyone in the house, there's a better chance of us all using every feature there is possible.
For sure.
And then lastly, I think...
Yeah, go ahead.
I just said, lastly, I think my group deserves it, and it's a great time. That we had a great time both years we've been there, and we look forward to it next year. That's
great. And sorry, I didn't mean to interject. I think it was a lot of the conversation that you guys were able to have as a team since everyone was present. So I know that was some significant value for you while you were here in Vancouver. So thank you for being picked on. I appreciate it. How about Shane? Has Shane managed to get his audio pin in yet?
Doesn't appear so. Oh, yes, it does. Here. He is unmuted. Go ahead.
Shane, you made it?
Hello, I had to hang up and redial back in. It wasn't letting me enter my PIN for some reason.
Welcome, Shane.
Thanks, everybody. Sorry about that a moment ago. Everything that Mary said, yes, and then some. Some of the things that I get out of the Unconvention are not just the networking and the idea sharing, but I love hearing all the fresh ideas and new ways that other users are finding to utilize Meetingmax and the system, and a lot of the times they've run into some of the same issues I might be running into, whether it's dealing with the event rights holder or the hotel. Or have to email all the great folks at Meetingmax all the time saying, hey, how do I do this? Chances are I've already met somebody who's run into that situation, and I can just email them directly or reach out to them and kind of get some ideas on how they've done that. And one of the things that we started doing this year after attending the Unconvention was we started introducing the State of Wind model. And I believe Mike from Colorado Springs kind of talked about that a little bit this year at the Unconvention, and we introduced that for 3 different softball tournaments, and we had record-breaking numbers this year on the tournament. So definitely a great idea that we were able to bring back and find some success with here.
Excellent. Good. No, thank you for that. I'm going to pick on one other person, but I feel bad that everyone on the call thinks that everyone who comes to the Unconvention is from Texas. So let's pick a state that's as far away from Texas as I can figure, Washington State. Ashley from the Spokane Convention and Visitor Bureau is on the call, and I will pick on you, Ashley, because the Spokane CVB has been around since Unconvention #1, and I think we're going into Unconvention #6. Ashley, you haven't been around the Bureau for that long, but I know the organization feels it's important to be able to have some representation at the Unconvention. So maybe just from your perspective as why you think it's important from the Spokane CVB's point.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I think we got you.
Okay. So it's really all about ROI for us. We're a little bit smaller city, so to remain competitive with other cities, we have to continue offering high-quality services like housing. So we attend the Unconvention because it's our chance to learn best practices, which makes our staff more efficient and effective in our jobs. It provides us the opportunity to be around peers who, it's so rare, but they face the same daily challenges that we do every day. So we can bounce ideas off of each other while we're there, and then we keep in contact throughout the year. If we didn't attend, we'd be missing out on all of the information and ideas presented at the Unconvention, but also those connections with our peers that are just invaluable.
Excellent. Well, good, thank you. And everyone can breathe a sigh of relief. I'm not going to pick on anybody else. I think that we all have the idea that that is important to have at the Unconvention or have some presence at the Unconvention. And we really do push the Unconvention quite hard because it is our opportunity to engage. It's certainly not a revenue generator or money maker on our end. But we know that if you come and get the facts, get the connections and the networks, you're going to be able to go implement and be more effective in your jobs, which ultimately are going to lead to, with your success comes our success. Okay, pass back to Kelly.
Great, thank you, Jeff, and thank you, Mary, Shane, and Ashley. That was great to hear. So about the Unconvention, as you guys know, we offer an early bird gift every year. So this year, our incentive to register early, we're keeping with our theme of diving deeper, and we're offering a Granville Island excursion via the Aqua Bus to all guests who register before December 31st. So if you have already registered, then you automatically qualify to receive this free gift. Payment for the conference isn't due until March, so if you do plan on attending, I highly recommend you register before the end of the year to take advantage of this early bird gift to explore the beautiful city of Vancouver. And finally, let's talk about the education sessions you can expect to see at the Unconvention. We are going to run our first poll here. So again, a reminder, you have to answer all the poll questions to be eligible to win our free feature. So I'm going to go ahead and launch that on the screen right now. If you guys can please go ahead. If you were to attend the Unconvention, what aspects of the conference would be the most important to you? Please choose all the answers that are applicable. So if you can go ahead and input your answers onto the poll, we'll leave this open for about 10 seconds here.
We should have the Jeopardy music playing now.
We should. Can you hum it?
Da-na-na-na, da-na-na.
Perfect. Okay, so if you haven't gotten your answer, and I'm going to go ahead and close this in 3 seconds. So 3, 2, 1. Okay, and let's share the results here. Perfect. So it looks like a pretty even mix. 79% want to see more education on housing processes, 81% want to see education on the Meetingmax application, and 65% are there for the networking. Well, the good thing is we do all 3 elements of that at the Unconvention, but this will help me just kind of where I should focus my attention. So education at the Unconvention focuses on running successful housing events, capitalizing on system features, uncovering new revenue streams, and staying current of industry trends. Last year, we had a great mix of guest speakers, client presentations, and Meetingmax-led education. Based on your feedback, the most popular sessions were roundtable discussions and panel presentations. Expect to see more of these in 2016. In addition, expect to see sessions on Housing 101, underutilized features, breakouts on subblock management and reconciliation, and more. We would love your suggestions as we finalize the education. You have until the end of this month to submit either a session you would like to present or just submit an idea of an education session that you would like to see. I will include a link in the post-webinar email where you can submit your ideas. And as you know, we always talk about new system features at the Unconvention. So now Sureena is going to talk about some exciting new system features in your system today.
Thanks, Kelly. Now I'll just go ahead and show my screen. Perfect. So I would like to start off the review of the new features we've released into the system over the last 6 months with a quick poll. Now, before I pose the question, let me give you some background. Currently, we've been sending out release notes on a bi-monthly basis via email. These release notes contain a brief overview of any enhancements and new features we've added to the system. My screen currently displays an example of the release notes you may have seen. Our goal is to make these updates available in the most convenient and accessible method possible. Therefore, we are considering moving the notes to the dashboard once it is complete. Now, let me give you, this is a glance of our dashboard that is currently in progress. The dashboard will be located on the initial page when you first log into the application. We will have a pace report type graph. It will also display the status of our reservations based on new, accepted, canceled, and declined, as well as allocated versus booked. We will also have an area in the bottom right that will show a text feed of basically the improvements and releases available, again, on a bi-monthly basis. Now, getting back to my poll question, I'm just going to launch that now. Please advise using the poll online how you would like to receive the release notes moving forward once the dashboard is complete. So via email, so as is, in the dashboard, in the scrolling text feed, or both, email as well as dashboard. So I'll leave the poll open for a couple more minutes. Give you a couple more seconds to respond. And then I'm going to close the poll in 3, 2, 1, close. And let's just share the results. Okay, so it looks like almost every, high percentage would like to see both in the dashboard and only a few by email. I appreciate the feedback, and as soon as the dashboard is complete, we'll make some adjustments to maybe do a combo of both. I do want to mention, actually I'll just hide the questions here and go back to the dashboard, that currently this dashboard is in development. It's scheduled to be released in early 2016. This is not our final version. However, I believe this will at least provide you with a good snapshot of what to expect once it is released. Now, moving along, today I'm planning to review 7 new features in the system that I feel everyone should become familiar with. So the first is the addition of sending acknowledgement confirmation emails to multiple email addresses. Often it comes up that either an assistant or a spouse requests copies of all reservation emails. As you know, in Meetingmax, we have 3 methods of entering reservations where we've now added the CC field. On the screen in front, you can see that on step 5 of the reservation process, we've added the field here where you can enter not one, but multiple CC email addresses, just one per line one per line per row. The same in the back end. So if you are making a reservation for a guest using the back end feature in the MCP, you can also enter in the CC email during the reservation process. Again, if there are multiple email addresses, it's one per line. And then for those of you on the line that either heavily use rooming lists and the import feature, then you can also enter in the CC email. We've added that column into the reports. Same type of format where you would enter each email address on one per line. I should also mention anyone who does receive a CC email, in this case help@meetingmax.cc or SureenaParmar@yahoo.com, they do not have the ability to make changes to their reservation. It would only be the primary guest or primary contact email address. So many of you have received an email that looks like this, and I'm sure you wonder why you're receiving these emails from Meetingmax. We recently built a feature that forwards you any emails that our mail server was unable to send, also known as bounce backs or undeliverables. In the example I have on my slide, you can see one of the email addresses is clearly entered incorrectly. So the guest did not receive the original email. All I need to do when I receive an email like this is click on the Res ID 491 link, which will automatically take me into the Res ID in Meetingmax. where I could update the email address and resend the email to the guest. This example is quite straightforward. However, sometimes it's not as easy to determine why the email did not send, as the email address may appear to be correct. If this is the case, then we've added the undeliverable message, sometimes to the body of the email or as an attachment here, which will help you decipher why the guest is not able to receive the email. I should also mention the bounce back emails will be sent to the system notification email under the setup. So in this case, the emails will be sent to Sureena@meetingmax.cc. Our obvious objective for adding this feature was to eliminate the number of calls you receive from clients indicating that they never received their confirmation emails or acknowledgement emails. Now moving along to reinstate rooms, we have added the ability for the user and the MCP to now change the status of the reservation back to new. We found many cases where the status was changed in error. For example, the reservation was canceled, but the guest calls you frantically indicating they made an error canceling the room, or the reservation was canceled or the reservation was declined by a hotelier as they were under the impression that there was no inventory left in the block. But of course, there was plenty of inventory available. Whatever the case, you now have the ability to simply reinstate the reservation back to new. When you click on the button, the system will automatically check the inventory to make sure that it is still available based on the reservation details. So is the hotel available? Is that room type available in the subblock, as well as the dates? If there is not enough inventory, there will be a prompt advising you that you cannot reinstate the reservation. Now, I realize this could be the case often since inventory is always changing. So we've also come up with an alternative solution if this is the case. Now let's go back to using the example of a guest canceling the reservation in error, and they call you frantically indicating they still would like the room. If you are unable to reinstate the room due to lack of inventory, you are able to use another feature called clone reservation. And you'll find that feature in the same area of the reservation actions. So if the guest, using that example, if the guest is flexible and would still like a room for this event, but they're willing to be flexible for the block or the hotel, you now have the ability to copy the reservation details into the back-end reservation from any status. The system will simply copy all the reservation details, such as hotel and dates, room details such as room type and guest name, personal contact information, as well as the payment information, and the credit card will remain masked. You can then proceed with adjusting the reservation based on the dates, subblock, as well as the hotel to complete the reservation for the guest. Another great example for this feature would be when a guest just calls you and says that they want a second room. Instead of building or starting a reservation from scratch from the back end, you can simply find the original reservation and clone the details. I also want to mention that when you are cloning a reservation, it is tracked in the history so you know which reservations are linked. So speaking of reservations, I have had probably dozens of conversations with many of you on the call right now on how we can avoid reservations in the system with expired credit cards. Often the events in the system are launched sometimes 1 or 2 years prior to the event date, so it's impossible to require a valid credit card at the time of reservation. In order to prevent this from happening, you can now search for all credit cards expiring before the event check-in dates under the reservation search. In this case, you can go ahead and search your event name and then go ahead down to the payment information, and you can select expired credit cards and simply press search. All the reservations with expiring credit cards before the event date will appear. You can then go into the individual reservations and choose to reach out to the guest or even just resend them their confirmation or acknowledgement email and put in a custom message there just advising them the credit card will expire. Now this is a very useful search and also important for you to utilize, especially if you have hotels that will be charging a deposit prior to the event, as the hotels will be expecting the credit card to be valid when they're taking these charges. Now while we were working on this feature, we also made some other changes to this area. So under the payment information, you can now search for credit card details, the credit name on card, the last 4 digits of the credit card, expiry date and month. And then you can also search for payment note. So if you are using this quite heavily for your rooming lists, then you can search details of the payment note. And also, those of you on the call that use either purchase order and transfers, those features are now also searchable under the payment information. Now moving along to hotel settings, this feature allows you to update hotel settings across all of your hotels, all of your existing hotels or new hotels at one time. Now let me give you 2 examples. If your hotel settings need to be the exact for all of your properties, so you're going to enable your hotel, you're going to set hotel notifications, you're going to set accept bookings, and then maybe number of rooms will be set as a search. And it will apply to all new and existing hotels that you add to your event. Now, on top of that, if you have something custom that you have for one individual hotel, you can update that in the individual hotel once you've added it to the event. Another example would be if you have an event that almost sells out within a few days of launch, and you do not want the hotels to receive notification for every reservation, then you have the ability to enable and disable the single checkbox using the hotel settings without having to go into each individual event hotel profile. This is a great new feature that we hope to build on as we release new features in this area. And I think one of the new features we'll be building on is my next slide, which is custom hotel taxes and fees. So this feature was actually released just into our system last week. As many of you know, when you build a hotel profile, you must always add your hotel taxes and fees to the profile, as this is where reservations will pull taxes from for all of your events. Now, we came across many situations recently where the taxes changed mid-year, so some of the events were affected by the tax increase where others were not. We also came across a situation where the resort fee in a destination changed by season, as well as charged not only by night, as well as by percentage. We came to the conclusion that having the taxes tied to the hotel profile for the event was simply not flexible enough for so many varying needs. Therefore, we added a new field in the event hotel. Here is a new field. We added a new field in the event hotel for the taxes in the hotel profile to automatically copy over. Then if you have a fee or tax that is specific for the one event, you can update it using this tab. Let me walk you through this slide. So going back, we've got your standard taxes 10% in the hotel profile. We've got a per room night fee of $3, and we've got a resort fee of $20. Now, in my event hotel, automatically those 3 charges or those 3 fees have been automatically added to the tab. Now, if I wanted to add or delete a certain charge, I would simply go to the trash can and delete the charge, perhaps the resort fee or the additional fee. And then if I wanted to add another charge, I would simply create a custom label, the hotel fee, the amount that it is, say $5. Is it a per night charge as dollar value or percentage? And then would there be a tax applied to it? For example, would this 10% tax be applied to the housing fee? As soon as I add that, it would be listed to the additional tax. So just a reminder, this housing fee that I've added of $5 will only apply for this hotel for this one event. So if this is something that you've contracted in, then it's for this one event, this is where you would see it. It would not affect any of your other events. Now, if you want more information about this feature, then I would recommend that you refer to, let me just go back. Actually, I missed a slide here. Let me just go back one. So we've got the taxes, additional fees, resort fee, housing fee. Those are a lot of fees, but I just want to make sure that you see what it will look like in the reservation details, as well as it will look the same on the confirmation and acknowledgement emails. So the breakdown is here. So you've got the room including taxes, which is $554, and then the breakdown. So room rate was $100 per night. You've got that housing fee that I just added, which is $5 per night to $20. And then I did flag it as taxable. Therefore, the 10% tax is being applied to the full amount of $420. And then we've got those additional taxes that we had that did not, the additional fees that did not have a tax on top of it. So the $12 for the additional fee and the resort fee, which brings us that room total of 554. Sorry, that was a mouthful. Now going back, if you do want more information about this feature, we did have a feature highlight sent out last week by Kelly, and it's also posted on our website. If you go to meetingmax.cc and refer to our blog page, we have all feature highlights as well as any other blogs posted by Kelly listed here. I also want to mention that this feature will be updated in our wiki within the next 2 weeks, so you can also refer to it there if you're looking for the information further down the road. Now let me pass it over to Patrick, who is going to discuss more about our training.
Thanks, Sureena, and hi, everybody. So as you can tell, we are constantly adding improvements and new development into the system. So with that, we wanted to make sure that we provided a support system that allowed you to remain confident and in the know with the system. So as most of you know, we released our training certification program this past April. And in only 8 months, we've seen 32% of registered users certified, which equates to over 350 hours of training. Simply put, that 350 hours of training would not have been possible without a tool like the training certification program. So I think that alone demonstrates the benefit of this complimentary online self-paced course. Anyone on your team can have access to the training certification program. Anyone who has access to the Meetingmax program on a daily basis should be certified. And so if you have anyone on your team you'd like to get through the program, just send me an email and we can make sure to get them set up. So in the 8 months that we've been running the training certification program, we've received a lot of feedback from our users. Similar to the system, we are also adding new courses and improving the training certification program. And included in the feedback that we received from you are ideas or courses that you'd like to see added to the program. So I just wanted to highlight 2 that we're working on right now. The first one being the Selling the System course. So this course was designed to help you sell the benefits of the system to a potential client. This lesson focuses on features in the system that can help you fill certain gaps for clients and making sure that you have a full understanding of those specific features. Another highly anticipated course that we're working on is the Hotel Control Panel certification. A lot of you are asking about the ability for your hotel partners to go through the Hotel Control Panel portion of the certification, and know that that's something that we are still working on logistically. It is definitely something that's on our radar and something that we hope to get out sometime in the future. In addition to our TCP, the Training Certification Program, we also released our consulting packages. We have a variety of different packages that can help support you in different areas that you may need that support. So I've just highlighted a couple here. We have our Build Me Up Buttercup package, as well as our hotel training package. We also have packages for new member training. So if you have a new member of your team and you're looking for them to go through a training program with us, there's a package available for that. We also have packages that we can work with, creating a revenue model that works for your organization, or creating a reconciliation package specific to your organization. We even offer in-person training if it's something that interests you. I'd like to talk to Tina on the line from the Chattanooga CVB. Tina recently purchased our Build Me Up Buttercup package for one of her Ironman events coming to the destination. Tina, I'm hoping maybe you can just talk on your decision on purchasing the package, as well as the benefits that you saw from the package.
Hey, Patrick. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
We're good to go.
Okay, good. Yes, it was very helpful to us with the Build Me Up Buttercup. First of all, I can't get the song out of my mind now. As there was a song, Build Me Up Buttercup, and I hear it all the time. But anyway, the event for Ironman of 2016 needed to be built before we were through with our training of the Meetingmax program. And so we were able to contact Patrick and Sureena, and they said, yes, we'll be more than happy to send us the information. It was so easy. There was a form they sent us. We filled out the form, sent it to them, and they started to work from there. And the wonderful thing is the Meetingmax people were working, trying to get 2016 set up, while we were actually at the Ironman 2015 weekend. So it was kind of stressful there for a little bit, but they were there, they got us through it, we're up and running, and reservations are coming in like crazy, and hardly any questions, hardly any phone calls, hardly any kind of emails are coming through with problems with the system. So it's been a life-saving thing.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that insight, Tina. And know that we did purposely choose that name to get that song stuck in your head, because it's a tough one to get out of your head once it's stuck.
That's okay. I like the song.
There you go. So now that we've heard a little bit about our consulting packages, I'd like to pose a question to you. And my question to you is, what areas are you most interested in regards to our training, our consulting packages, sorry. So I'm going to go ahead and launch that poll right now. Note that you can answer multiple answers if there's a couple different areas that are of interest to you. A couple answers coming in. Just give you a couple more seconds here. Looks like stuff's still coming in. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close that poll down in 3 seconds. So 3, 2, 1. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and share our results here. So it's a little bit all over the place, but it looks like there's a lot of interest in hotel training, which I'm not surprised, as well as building your system. So that's definitely good information for us to know to make sure we can accommodate any of those requests coming in, and making sure that you know, if we don't have an existing package that will work, that we can go ahead and work on creating one of those. In addition to our training certification program, as well as our consulting packages, we know that one of the most common feedbacks we get in our post-Unconvention surveys is the benefit of having that network. Like you've heard people say, the network that you're building at Unconvention is second to none. And so we wanted to come up with a way to extend that network and give you access to that year-round. So we've created the Meetingmax user group LinkedIn page, and this is online. It's all free through your LinkedIn profile. This is a great way to engage with that network on a year-round basis. And some of the topics we've seen discussed on this page in the last couple of months include best practices on commissions and rebates, best hotel practices, taxes on commission and rebates, generating revenue. And a lot of these discussions were started by people on the call here today. So I want to encourage everyone, if you're not already a member of this group, to become a member and make sure that you're using it actively, because it is a great resource to utilize. Another online tool that we have is our Meetingmax Wiki. Of course, Sureena mentioned it in her presentation, and it is an online forum that is basically a user manual for the system. We on our end are working really hard to make sure that this is updated regularly with all the latest information, and this is also a really great starting point for anytime you have a question about the system. You know, most likely the answer to that question is in Meetingmax Wiki, and it's super easy. When you go to it through the master control panel in the drop-down menu, you can actually do a search on the wiki as to a topic you're looking for. So if you're looking for, you know, a list of emails that are sent from the system and who sends that email, that's available in the wiki. You know, any information you're looking for can be found in the wiki. One support system that we have that we've offered for quite some time is our monthly calls. These are complimentary monthly webinars that we offer twice a month. So we do one master control panel training and one hotel control panel training every month. And we've just released the 2016 schedule, so that'll be up in your master control panel under your setup and resources tab, as well as available on the wiki very shortly here. This is great for training new employees or new members of your team, or as well as a good refresher if you haven't been in the system in a while, or you have a specific question you'd like to ask the Meetingmax team. This is a great resource to do so. The hotel control panel training is quite standard. We do go through the same process every time, as it's a pretty straightforward process. However, the master control panel trainings are quite flexible, and we actually tend to gear the content based on who's on the call. And sorry, but I'm just going to interrupt quickly. I just want to make sure that everyone can see my screen. I'm not sure if I'm having some technical difficulties here. If someone can maybe mention in their question box whether they're seeing the 2 schedules of the training certification program. All right.
I can see that now, Pat.
Thank you, Kelly. Excellent. Sorry about that, guys. And so, yeah, like I said, the master control panel training is quite flexible, and we do gear it towards whoever's on the call. So this is a great resource, again, not only to utilize the Meetingmax team if you have a specific scenario or a specific question you'd like to walk by us, but also that resource of other users on the call as well. We do like to have that community feel, so usually the calls are kept, to 10 or so users, and it's a great resource to utilize there as well. And the final thing I wanted to mention about the Meetingmax support system is its flexibility. As you can see, we do have a variety of different channels to gain support through the system. However, we know that that may not necessarily work for your specific situation. So know that we do have flexibility with that. As an example, we can create a consulting package customized for your destination. So we recently worked with the St. Charles CVB, who had an annual citywide convention or event happening at the same time as a smaller softball tournament. Due to staffing changes mid-event, they had to pool their resources towards the larger citywide, leaving the smaller tournament just kind of there. And so they reached out to us to see if there was something that we could do to help them out. And we ended up working as an extension of their office to make sure that they could provide their housing services to both of their clients simultaneously. Another thing with the Meetingmax support is that our offices are open from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time. And so we want to make sure that you guys are all comfortable picking up the phone and giving us a call when you have a question for us. And then finally, we have an access to a network of housing professionals, you guys. We can connect you to other users that are going through similar problems as you or similar issues as far as, working with hotel partners or some taxes or commissions, whatever it may be, and make sure that you can have access to those people. And so now that you guys know the different support methods that we have and we offer, I'm going to pass it over to Jeff, who's going to talk a little bit about the new UI.
Hey, Patrick, can you hear me? Oh, that's good. Hopefully we can hear. Very good.
We can hear you.
Excellent. After I gave everyone a hard time, I gave Shane a hard time about not entering his audio pin, and it turns out I wasn't entering in my audio pin. So my apologies. I am going to get my screen up here. My intention here, and this is actually a very big deal here at Meetingmax because they're allowing me to show my screen. So they've entrusted me with making sure that I don't blow this one. So hang tight and bear with me. You guys are on my screen now, which is kind of exciting. So thank you, Patrick and Sureena, going through the new features and the training side. I wanted to spend a few minutes, and I have about 8 minutes to talk about the new front-end user interface. Our team has been really hard at work on the new front-end UI, and we're really pleased with the progress so far. So I'm going to take you through a number of the steps in the reservation process over the next 8 minutes or so that I've got with you. What you're looking at right now, or you should be looking at if I've actually managed to do this correctly, is a screen in a series of events using the same page code. This particular system that we're looking at is licensed by Meetingmax as the client, and that's why you see the branding for Meetingmax up here at the top. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the Unconvention as our event with some bogus information, bogus hotels, bogus rates, so that you get the general gist. So selecting our check-in and checkout date, we're looking for 2 rooms at the Unconvention 2016, and we are proceeding into the reservation process. So some things you're going to notice as we begin walking through the new UI. The first thing is, in the overarching theme, layout, the overall aesthetic as easy to navigate as possible, and we've really focused on catering to universal usability. So that means the entire site is completely responsive, whether from a desktop, a mobile device, or a tablet. Your users are going to maintain a similar powerful user experience. Another big emphasis has been placed on a reduction of action items for the user. So with less action items comes less steps. Less steps means reduced calls to action, and the user ultimately leads to a higher closing ratio. So if your guests can get into their room faster, easier, and with less effort, you guys are going to experience more nights booked, more revenue incurred, and obviously reduced exposure as well. So that's what we've tried to achieve for you here. So just continue on the reservation. First thing is, note the use of images. The new UI is very image heavy. So from the background images that you see floating in the background, which have been uploaded for it, to the image slider with the hotels, not even leaving the first step here, we have an opportunity to slide through hotel images in the various hotel properties. And also the new images for the guest rooms, which we'll actually see when I get into the actual reservation. Just while we're here on this step, taking a look at the filters on the left-hand side, determining specific preferences that the users may have or that the guests may have, a price range indicator, looking for specific hotel properties that fit within this particular range of price, and then obviously some additional preferences in terms of the amenities. So note, first of all, I guess the capability to obtain more information without leaving our initial point of entry. We're just on the first step. We have an opportunity to look at overview of the property. Notice a standardized icon set, which you'll see down here. The standardized icon set is going to be consistent between your hotels, between your events, and ultimately between all of the various systems. So again, reducing the steps, making it easier to not lose people in the process, and ultimately leading to a higher closing ratio. So I'm here, I've got some general information about the Wedgwood Hotel for the Unconvention. I now want to proceed to my call to action, which is to book a room. This is the additional images that we talked about in terms of having individual profile for each one of your hotel room types, as well as having the opportunity here to be able to book your room right inside of. And note, we haven't gone very far in the steps, and yet my next call to action here is I have gone ahead and made 2 clicks. I now have my reservation, check-in, check-out date at my hotel. I have my specific nights and my room types, and I'm told what my total is. I have the opportunity in this case to be able to continue adding rooms to my reservation only because that is the logic that had been entered in for the Unconvention, this bogus Unconvention, not to worry. Everyone is staying at the Sutton Place, not at the Wedgwood Hotel. You don't have to go and cancel your reservation. But having the opportunity to be able to select additional rooms for my reservation, I'd like to add one more room of the Deluxe King, add it to my booking, and you're going to see on the booking summary that now I've got my second room in here. I made the first one in error. I'm going to get rid of that, and it's that simple. The second part is, you'll note this toolbar that runs across the top with my dates. At any time, I can make a modification to my dates, as opposed to having to go back in the reservation process. So I can go ahead and make a modification to my dates and continue with my booking. So I'm not actually going to go through and I guess proceed through an entire reservation as you guys get the general idea. I just maybe spend the last couple minutes talking about some meat and potatoes. It was our intention to have this introduced to you guys sooner. As you know, we continued on our development. We felt a real strong desire to make sure that the initial release included as much functionality as possible. So all of the great things you see in the front end obviously need to have a corresponding item built in the back end. And I'll get to that in a second because there's going to be some homework for the users on the call. We have methodically been proceeding with front end and doing it simultaneously to the back end. So as we develop in the front, we have to develop in the back. Despite it taking some additional time, we really think it's going to be worth the wait, and I'm sure you guys will be very pleased with it. We're going to be launching, and I know that that's probably going to light up the question boxes. I'm going to deal with that question now. We're going to be launching this new UI inside of Q2 of 2016, and we really do appreciate your patience as we get there. We also appreciate a lot of your input. We've leaned on a lot of you guys to provide us some input and intel as we design it, and we really have put a really strong sense of wanting to make sure that we're following best practices in UI and using the latest, most up-to-date technologies. Again, this universal usability and the collapsing boxes depending on the device that's being utilized. So, some things to start thinking about as we get closer to our completion. As I said, a lot of these new features and functionality are going to need you, the MCP operator, to take into consideration. So from the amenity icons to the additional images to modification of the hotel information, all of these are going to need your attention before you're able to go live with your first event on the new UI. We're going to make it easy for you. We're going to produce a gap analysis document to help you guys outline the various areas that you'll need to factor in order to proceed with the use of the new UI. And also, we're going to be detailing out our plans to make sure that we can move you onto the new UI without causing issue or concern with the existing events that may be live on the old one. So all of these details will be forthcoming to you in the next few months. And yeah, we really look forward to getting it out to you guys. It really is a great labor of love. Our team is loving putting this together for you because we know ultimately that this is going to demonstrate and equal the first-class service that you guys are providing your clients. we're providing a first-class front-end user interface to be able to properly reflect that. So with that, I've been asked to run a poll, and I have a bit of a confession to make. I was told to make a poll. I told them to just make a poll for me, and they slid in front of me my poll just before we got on the call, and it looks like I may have been hoodwinked. So I'm going to see about this. If I can launch this. What you should see on your screen right now is a poll that has been created asking what you feel I should do at the 2016 Unconvention. You can only select one, and I guess that had been designed because everyone was going to select everything. Do I do cartwheels at the opening reception? Do I pay for everyone to be flying first class? Do I wear a 1970s leisure suit, powder blue with white shoes? Or do I win a hot dog eating contest by consuming 20 hot dogs in 2 minutes? The last and final, and I have a feeling I know who's going to vote for this one, is to serenade Terry Castle from Omaha CBB. And I can already see some of the votes coming in for it. Clearly, we have a fan club from Terry. So, sorry for the silly poll. However, I think this is proof positive that another one of our core values, make it fun, is alive and well here at Meetingmax. And rest assured, I have made my mistake for the last time, and I won't lean on anyone else from Meetingmax to create my poll questions ever again. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close the poll in 3, 2, 1. Get your last poll in, and let's see what the winners are. It appears what I'm going to be doing is, oh my God, we're going to have to get David Ebert on the line here because we're going to have to pay for everyone to be upgraded to first class as they head to Vancouver. So look forward to those upgrade certificates coming to you in the mail. All right, so I am going to pass this off, and I'm going to hide the poll results. I'm going to pass this off to Patrick. We're going to talk about some Q&A. I see that there's a whole number of questions that are coming in. Patrick, if we can, I know we don't have a ton of time, but we can probably deal with 5 minutes of questions. And rest assured, any questions that we can't get to on the call today, we will make sure that we get answered in our post-event wrap-up. So Patrick, are you there?
I'm here, Jeff. Thank you. Although there was 3 or 9%, I think, for serenading Terry Castle, I also have a comment from Tina when you were singing the Jeopardy song to Please Stop. So I'm not sure. There's conflict.
I thought she was just telling me to stop talking. That's what I think.
Oh, it could have been. Very well could have been. So looking at questions, again, just want to remind everyone, if you have any questions, please do enter them into the question panel now. We're going to make sure that we get to as many as we can, and the ones that we can't get to, we'll be sure to respond to in our post-call survey, or email, rather. So Christy from Syracuse is asking, going back to Sureena, your additional fees, is the additional fee the same as the rebate, or does that go in a different place? Sureena, do you want to maybe take that question?
Yeah, sure, of course. So if there is a rebate that you're charging and it's not built into the room rate, and you want to have it as a separate line item, then I would suggest using the additional fees and taxes area to add that in.
Awesome. Thanks, Sureena. Opal is asking, how do I sign up for Kelly's release notes email? Opal, I think the answer to that is that you're already on the list, or you should be on the list already. I'm going to make a note to make sure that you are. And if anyone else is looking to make sure you're not receiving that email and you'd like to, just send Kelly an email saying you'd like to be on that list, and she can add you easily. Ashley Armstrong is asking, what is the difference between the monthly hotel training and the $150 hotel training? Great question, Ashley. So the monthly training is a complimentary, pre-scheduled webinar every month, and it's first come first served basis, so we can fit up to 25 hotels on it, and it is a very general basic, this is how you use the software in the most generic way possible. And the $150 training package is actually a custom hotel training for only your hotels. So we'll work with you to make sure that we can get all of your hotels on the line at the same time. And if you have a specific event coming up that you would like to, there's specific procedures you want the hotels to know, we can go ahead and make sure that we implement those specific procedures into the hotel training. So it's kind of a little bit of it can act as a pre-con to the event as well as a hotel training, making sure that everyone knows exactly the process we're using. We can include specific cutoff dates or any specific dates that the hotels need to be aware of. It's just a little bit more specific to you. Now, Natalie asks, what is the best way to search within the wiki? I have found it difficult to find information that I'm looking for. Natalie, I think the best way is to do a generic search of what you're looking for, and then there are a couple results that come up. Another good way to do it is if you look through the wiki and you can't find it, send me an email of what you're looking for. I'm a little bit more familiar with the wiki, being that I'm the one that's in it on a regular basis, daily. And so send me an email with what you're looking for, and I can make sure that I can get that information for you if you can't bring it up by doing an easy search there. Okay, and Tina from Chattanooga says, how do we convince our president that the IT director should attend the Unconvention?
Sounds like a loaded question.
On that?
Absolutely. Tell them to give me a call. I'm sure we'll get the folks on that talked about the Unconvention on a group chat, and we'll get that dealt for you, Tina. No problem.
And if that doesn't work, let them know the ticket's first class.
Love it.
All right, it looks like live band karaoke. Shane's obviously an Unconvention veteran who's reciting some memories we've all made over the years. If there's any more questions, now's the time to ask them. Otherwise, we're going to pass it back to Jeff to say the farewell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions
coming in, Jeff?
Okay. Well, hey guys, I want to thank you. I do have a note here that's been passed to me just to make sure that it's announced that the contest winner is going to be on our post-webinar email. So everyone who's answered the questions and answered all the questions is entered into win that prize. I really do hope existing partners kind of got a good feel for the progress that we continue to make. I hope that the new customers and folks that maybe are just checking us out get a better feel for who we are as an organization and our philosophies in business. You know, our transparency, our ability to listen to our customers, and importantly, our ability to act after listening on our customers, I think is key. I hope everyone got excited about the industry and where we're collectively going together. We can't really do this thing alone. In order for us to make the impact that we're planning, it's going to take a lot of events, it's going to take a lot of hotels and a whole lot of guests for us to get there. Just know that we are with you every step of the way. We are here as your partners and your friends. We're here to collectively really do much more than either of us could do on our own. So I can't wait to see many of you in Vancouver in the spring. Get your passports, book your flights, hang tight and look for that upgrade certificate, which I'm going to go apply from David Ebert, and we'll make sure that your organization is represented at the Unconvention with as many possible people as you can get here. So I promise the ROI will be significant. I want to thank everybody. With 1 minute to spare, thanks very much. I appreciate you attending, and farewell.